up, 7 p.m., off-season Dodger Talk with David Vassay and Kevin Kennedy.
It's now time to get into some justice with the greatest attorney that ever lived. You know him, you love him, he loves our listeners. You hear his smooth voice on the radio every single week on PMS. His dense beard of justice is known from here to KFI. He is at Sweet James Law. All law questions that you have, you can tweet him. Or if you really need a lawyer, give him a call, 800-881-2021. It's time for justice with Sweet James.
Order in the court. Order in the court. It's time for justice with Sweet James.
Sweet James Bergener is with us from an undisclosed location in his operating area of Orange County, California. What's cracking, Sweet James? How are you?
Not much, Petros and Money. How are you guys?
Oh, we're fabulous. It's wonderful to hear from you, Sweet James. Now, we know that you're a man about town, but I understand that you're going to Chicago.
I am going to go to Chicago for the New Year.
Now, because you're such a high-powered attorney, do you have to, tell people you're not really going somewhere when you're going somewhere because you never know who could be after you, like Homeland or something like that? Or is it more, do you move freely around the country without really a lot of care?
I move pretty freely.
All right. Well,
I have a good security detail.
That's kind of distant.
I need that these days.
Is that just that guy with the beard and the skinny jeans that comes around with you?
No, he's a beard groomer.
Okay, but you don't really
His
have...
beard has its own groomer? Wow, talk about a detail you got to take on the road with you.
What I'm saying is if that guy grooms your beard, who grooms his? Because he also has a pretty impressive beard.
You know, it runs in the office. I mean, my beard got up before I did this morning.
Fair enough. Sweet James Bergener is with us. It's time to discuss some legal issues. 800-881-2021, sweetjames.com or at Sweet James Law on Twitter. Somebody had a baby on a Southwest Airlines flight the other day, and we were talking last week, Sweet James, about if you have holiday travel issues and you do very poorly, can you sue the airline? And I think if you want to reiterate the answer for our listeners, what is that answer?
Yeah, you can sue the airline. If it's not due to weather, you're going to be able to make a claim against them. Usually working with the airline is your best bet, but if not, small claims is the way to go.
All right, let's say I'm flying, I'm minding my own business on a Southwest Airlines flight. Maybe I'm in C group, so I'm already in a bad mood, and I'm sitting in a middle seat. And somewhere in my general area, God forbid, right next to me, somebody blows a baby out of their undercarriage.
Yeah.
And I'm disturbed by it.
Do you help deliver it?
Do I help deliver it?
If they need a pair of hands.
Yeah.
If they need a pair of hands and they say, hey, you, strapping man, come over here and grab this child and help.
I don't think I would help deliver. If I was disturbed by it, the hypothetical me, if I was disturbed by it, I don't think I'd be helping in the delivery.
Even
you
if
wouldn't
they
help,
requested.
what about helping the breathing?
Matt, you're confusing the issue now. All right, let's just say
James is intrigued.
Somebody else helps with. Let's say somebody else helps with the delivery. I personally am horrified by the display of life happening in front of me on Southwest Airlines, and I want to sue Southwest Airlines for what I had to see. Is that also like weather, like an act of God that they cannot be responsible for? Do I have a case being disturbed by the blowing out of a baby right in my row on a Southwest Airlines flight, which actually did happen? The story's on am640.com.
That's right. It did just happen, didn't it?
Yes.
It did. That doesn't sound like you. It doesn't sound like you, Petros.
No, I would help deliver. I would get in there. Matt knows I'd roll up my sleeves and get to work. But
Damn right you would.
But for the sake of the segment, which is a legal segment.
It is a legal segment.
Would
That's
I
right.
have legal recourse in this situation?
Here's the thing, Petros. Anybody can sue anybody at any time for anything. If you were to file a lawsuit for this, you would lose.
Would you represent him, James?
Petros, yes.
No, you wouldn't represent a guy that wanted to sue for seeing a baby being born.
Only because it's Petros.
He'd do it for me.
Yeah.
Only for Petros.
My client could not speak on the radio. He was so horrified after what he saw on that flight. We need at least $4 million.
James, from the air.
I wouldn't have to pay Sweet James unless I settled, so he'd do it for free.
Right.
I mean, it would be a tough deal.
From the air to the ground, James, and all the crap that's happening around Uber and around Lyft, and now it looks like the state of California is going after them for claiming they do extensive background checks. How bad are things for these two services, and do you envision them sticking around for a while, or are they going to get caught up in all this legal mumbo-jumbo and end up going away?
I think Uber is going to clean up their act. They are here to stay. I mean, they've raised over $1 billion in venture capital. They are here. Now, there is a state senator, Ben Hueso, whose brother owns a cab company, who voted for legislation that would hurt Uber. Then hours later was arrested for a DUI.
Whoa, double whammy.
Why couldn't
Right?
Why couldn't Hueso call brother Hueso to come pick him up in his cab?
I'm wondering the same thing.
Do you ever take Uber at Sweet James Law?
I do take Uber.
I've done it once, and one time they charged me three times.
He got
What?
stuck. He got stuck with peak pricing.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I was, you're drunk, and you're just pushing buttons on your phone, and you get all proud when it says, "We're coming."
The surge is on.
Yeah,
Are you still okay?
Just like,
You're just like thumbs up. Thumbs
whatever.
up.
I
Let's
gotta get out
ride.
of here. I'm tired of being here. I'm tired. I'm drunk. And next thing you
Yeah.
know, $350 to come home from downtown LA. I could have called Hueso's brother.
Holy God.
Hueso's brother would have taken me home for $60.
You could have taken a Southwest Airlines flight from
I
downtown
know.
to your
It
home.
was the most expensive
What's that
cab
gonna-
ride of my life, and the guy wore me out the whole time about how great Kobe was.
Oh, damn.
Terrible.
Hey, James, it's surprising that we're going to talk about the NFL and the legal system, but Ray Rice and his wrongful termination grievance against the Baltimore Ravens set for the middle of January. Looks like January 15th. It's going to happen before an arbitrator. They're talking about the termination of his contract, about he thought it was time served, and then they snatched back all of his money, and it was $3.5 million. So what exactly are they trying to accomplish here? Does he just want to get money back? Does he want to be on an NFL team? What exactly are they going for in front of this arbitrator?
Money. I think he needs or wants both. He wants money. He wants to get paid for his contract, and he wants to play. We'll see what the arbitrator comes down with in mid-January. If he loses, I expect him to file a lawsuit against the NFL. But I don't know what arbitrator we have picked. We'll see what he comes down with. It's likely he can be reinstated. It's all going to come down to discovery for Ray Rice. We will see what Goodell knew before he issued his initial suspension, and then did he see that video beforehand? We will see what that arbitrator needs to see and what his decision will be.
This hour has been brought to you by me, the dense spirit of justice, Sweet James Bergener. At Sweet James Law, sweetjames.com, 800-881-2021. It's always great to catch up with you, Sweet James. Have a wonderful holiday and a great trip to Chicago and all Matt's wonderful recommendations. Have a wonderful time, and we'll see you next week. Or at
You
least
too.
hear from you like you're in the room.
See you guys soon.
Adios!
Coming up, our hot stove film fight is next, and a reminder, as they are hot stoving it up down in San Diego, D. Gordon and Dan Herron traded to the Miami Marlins in exchange for 4 minor leaguers, headlined by the number 9 overall pick.